at them up there. You want to turn this into a war zone. The community is watching. The community is watching. The community is watching.
They say stand back, we say fight back. 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 They say stand back, we say fight back.
Welcome. Today's a very important day. It's the beginning of the Derek Chauvin trial. And for those of you who don't remember, Derek Chauvin is the cop who killed George Floyd. I say killed, not murdered, because that will be determined by a court of law. Thousands of people are already marching in Minnesota. If you could remember the summer, we had marches, we had riots, we had looting, and we might be in for a similar thing if the outcome of the trial is not what these people want. Derek is being charged with manslaughter and second-degree murder. In this video, we're going to go over the Minnesota statutes for manslaughter and second degree, and we're going to analyze where we think this case is going. So, without further ado, let's get into it. As I'm recording this, I got a notification on my phone that the judge delayed the trial because he's considering whether or not to reinstate third-degree murder charges against Derek Chauvin. So we're also going to go over the Minnesota statute for third-degree murder. Now, if you haven't seen my videos yet, I sort of know what I'm talking about. I'm not a lawyer yet, but I will be in 2 months. And if you can see here, I've passed my crim law class. So, let's take a look at them statutes, shall we? Minnesota Statute 609-205, manslaughter in the second degree. A person who causes the death of another by any of the following means is guilty of manslaughter in the second degree. Number 1, by the person's culpable negligence whereby the person creates an unreasonable risk and consciously takes chances of causing death or great bodily harm to another, or by shooting, or by setting a spraying gun, or negliging or intentionally permitting. All right, those don't apply. The prosecution is going to go for number 1. By the person's culpable negligence whereby the person creates an unreasonable risk. Did Officer Derek Chauvin create an unreasonable risk when he subdued George Floyd with his knee over his neck? I would say yes. A common person would say yes. But the defense is going to say no. The defense is going to bring up the Minnesota Police Officer Training Manual, where it says that a knee over the head, over the neck, like Derek had, is what they're supposed to do in common police procedure. Does that mean that it's right? No, by no means. It means that it's right. If anything, it means that it needs to be rewritten. But maybe what it does mean is that manslaughter is not going to stick. I think it might. It all depends on what it says in the Minnesota Police Manual. We'll see. Then we have murder in the second degree. 609-19, murder in the second degree. Whoever does either of the following is guilty of murder in the second degree and may be sentenced to imprisonment for not more than 40 years. Whoever causes the death of a human being with intent to effect the death of that person or another, but without premeditation, or causes the harm of a human while committing or attempting to commit a drive-by shooting. All right, that doesn't apply. Unintentional murders. Whoever does either of the following is guilty of unintentional murder in the second degree. Causes the death of a human being without the intent to effect the death of any person while committing or attempting to commit a felony. So the first line would seem like, okay, this applies, but where it says while committing or attempting to commit a felony offense, Derek Chauvin wasn't attempting to commit a felony offense. But let's take a look at number 2. 2 actually. Causes the death of a human being without intent to effect the death of any person, sounds right, while intentionally inflicting or attempting to inflict bodily harm upon the victim, sounds right, when their perpetrator is restrained, sounds right, under an order for protection, and the victim is person designated to receive protection under the order. All right, I don't know if that applies, but maybe. 609-195, murder in the third degree. Whoever, without intent to effect the death of any person, causes the death of another by perpetrating an act eminently dangerous to others and evidencing a depraved mind without regard for human life is guilty of murder in the third degree. When it comes to criminal acts, when you're getting prosecuted, the prosecution needs to prove the actus reus and the mens rea. It's a fancy way of saying state of mind and then act. So here, the state of mind is a depraved mind without regard for human life. I don't think it's very hard to argue that Derek Chauvin was acting without regard to human life. And the act is causes the death of another by perpetrating an act eminently dangerous. Derek Chauvin caused the death of George Floyd by putting his knee over the neck. Was that an eminently dangerous act? I think so, but if it's stated in the police manual that's what you had to do, then I don't know. It's going to be complicated. The analysis we just did is very surface level because the reality is we don't have the real facts. We don't have the details. For example, we don't know what the police manual says. So until we see those details, any analysis you see on YouTube or on TV is going to be an approximation, a guess. An educated one, but a guess nonetheless. Now, if Derek Chauvin is not guilty, we're going to see mass rioting. We've already got thousands of people marching. We've got people in the outside the courthouse with signs saying, if Derek doesn't get it, the system's going down. So, I'm going to try to find footage for this. If not, I'll put some pictures up, but it's not. If he doesn't get convicted, it's going to get ugly. Well, we'll see what happens. We're going to be following it like the OJ trials. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Like, subscribe. See you next time.